Hey Eurovision fans, day 2 of rehearsals at Eurovision 2024 have completed. The 8 countries from the second half of the first semi-final took to the stage in Malmo for the first time. I'm going to go through the press photos for all 8 countries and give you my analysis of who elevated, who maybe has a little bit of work left to do, and how this could influence who qualifies to the grand final. So let's kiki. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Tom. I'm an Irish Eurovision analyst, and you can find all of this stuff on my Eurovision channel. So today we had 8 countries going on the Eurovision stage for the first time from the second half of the first semi-final. Same thing, I'm going to go through all 10 of the photos that were released. These photos are courtesy of the EBU, Sarah Louise Bennett and Corinne Cummings, so big shout out to them for taking these awesome photos. There's also TikToks available on the Eurovision TikTok channel. I'm not going to show them because I don't have the emotional strength to deal with copyright. I don't have the time either. I don't have either of those things, so I'm just going to talk about the TikToks. If you want to watch them, of course, you can just go to the official Eurovision TikTok. They're all sitting there waiting for your delicious eyes. Are your eyes delicious? That doesn't really make any sense. Never mind, let's move on. So first up, we have Iceland, Hera Björk singing Scared of Heights. So yeah, what a way to start. Well, first of all, let's talk about the outfit. This gold top with a little bit of fringe going on, giving us a bit of a country feel. I gotta be real, this looks like Connor's camel toe outfit from last year with a little bit of fringe on it. Looks like there's a little bit of recycling going on. I don't know what this staging is. I'm not seeing anything like particularly interesting. There's one image here now where she's standing at the top of maybe this little pyramid and we've got some blue lights coming in. That looks kind of cool. But overall here, there's just not really anything for me to comment on. We've got another picture of the outfit. You know, the camel toe's got a little bit of a fringe in front of it. You know, she's singing. This looks like it could be a pre-party performance. I'm just not picking out like what the story is. You know, she's scared of heights. She's top of like quite small pyramid. I don't know. I was thinking like, could she fall off the pyramid? Or I was expecting like something a little bit more exciting. Maybe she'd go up into trapeze. Luna's got her towers. She's not even singing about heights, and she's significantly higher than Hera Björk is. Very, very little for me to comment on here. We've got an image of her in silhouette here. Look, this is just nothing really going on. We've got some blues, we've got some golds and reds. I don't know what to talk about. For some reason as well, there's only 8 photos on the website. Everyone else has 10, so I'm not sure if that's a loading error or something like that. If so, I apologize. But like, I got nothing to talk about here. There's just nothing going on. We've got a nice silhouette here, so it looks like there's going to be some nice lighting, and I like how the light is hitting the fringe. So I just watched the TikTok, and in that actually we can see some nice movement with this fringe dress. So I think it's actually quite pretty, much better than what Connor had last year. There's no focus on her groin, and then the dancers are going to come in later. But really, this staging for me is just not, there's nothing really there. It gives me a little bit of mix of Ireland last year and also Emma Muscat, I Am What I Am. She started on piano and then she came down, and then there was just some dancing. Just not very much imagination or creativity. I thought this song was already a border, not even a borderline, a likely no. I'm not seeing any extra magic or wow here. Hera's really consistent. I know that she's going to be able to perform and sing this song really excellently, but like, I just feel like you need to come fighting. You need to, this is such a competitive semi-final, and I'm just not getting any wow from this. I see a lot of people talking about how wine mums are going to love this. Maybe this is the type of thing that wine mums like. I don't know. I'm not a wine mum. I don't have any children. I don't like wine. And so maybe I'm not who they're targeting. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't feel any excitement looking through these photos or the videos, so I just don't understand the strategy here. At the end of the day, if they qualify, fair play to them for coming up with such a unusual way to make it. Okay, next up we've got Slovenia. It's Raven singing Veronica. Now the reaction to this on Twitter was pretty negative. I don't think I'm as negative as anyone else. Let's first look at the outfit. I think she looks absolutely stunning here. Like, I really love this kind of sheer thing. She's got this like metal work over her breast, which is really pretty, and it looks really cool with her snake tattoos underneath. So I actually really like the styling. I think it looks super cool. And in the second photo, we have her on the ground. Again, the floor looks so awesome. This reflection, we also saw that Ukraine was using the reflections as well in day 1. So really, really beautiful mystery here. And we did see a little bit of that water element in the music video. So I feel like they're using sky and water. We're going to see some of the sky visuals that are coming later on. In the TikTok, we can see that she does do a lot of work on the ground. You know, she's slinking and slithering around a little bit like a snake. She has some bits as well where she's getting up almost like an alien. So I think there's going to be some really cool choreography movement on the ground, which could help just differentiate this, give it a little bit more of a weird, earthy, natural, primordial feel. It's not totally what I was expecting, but I am liking some of the elements here. We're going to have 4 or 5 dancers coming on in kind of nude clothes, giving us some dramatic contemporary dancing. It looks like they're going to lift her up at the end, but generally it's like this kind of like throng of chaos around her. It looks like all of the dancers have different choreography, so this isn't like a girly bop dance routine where you have 4 people all doing the same choreo, focusing on one person. It looks like it's going to be this kind of like arms and legs frenzy around her. And we can see here now the 5 dancers around here and this beautiful cloud backdrop. I really like the cloud in the background, these whites to blues. It is brighter than I was expecting. I think I was expecting something a little bit more dark and eerie. So this is a little bit unexpected in that sense, but I think it looks really, really pretty. And we haven't really had this color palette yet so far in the semi-final. And we haven't had anyone who's like really heavily leaning into nature either. You know, we tend to get a couple of songs each year that have a nature theme because it does look really pretty. But so she's kind of got that niche to herself so far. You have to wait and see. I haven't seen all the photos yet from later on, so hopefully no one else is doing nature as well later. This photo for me is kind of interesting because this shows her again down on the ground and the lighting. You got to keep in mind when we see these photos, they are different than what's going to be on the screen. So I'm hoping we're going to get some really smooth, slick camera angles, some weird cuts off horizontal, just giving us like a slightly uncomfortable, weird feel and just differentiating this. So I'm hoping that Slovenia have some tricks up their sleeve in how they're going to choose their camera cuts. For example, if you know Oscar Zia, Human, he did some beautiful work with the cameras in 2016 when he came second in the Swedish national final. He also had clouds and all these quick camera cuts, and it just really, really elevated it massively. So I'm hoping that Slovenia are going to have something similar, and that's just something that we can appreciate in these photos. We have this interesting image of them all looking up. So I feel like the choreography and the way that everyone's holding themselves is very different from everyone else. There's a slight detachment where everyone else is kind of performing to the camera at all points and looking at the camera, and you're performing to the audience. I feel like Raven is making a little bit more of her own world. She's got this mysticism quality. You know, they're looking up here. A lot of the dancers are kind of looking into the distance or looking into the sky. They aren't focusing on the audience. This isn't a performance to people. This is like an incantation, a chanting. It's like this ritualistic performance. So I'm getting that feel from where everyone's focus is on the stage. Here we can see again, just a lot brighter than I was expecting. I think these clouds look really, really pretty though. And at the end, we're seeing that they're lifting her up. I gotta be real now, I was kind of hoping that there would be some dramatic moment in this, that something that was symbolizing her being set on fire or being drowned. So the story of Veronica is that although she was cleared of witchcraft, she was still drowned. So I thought that we're gonna maybe get some sort of symbolism of that towards the end. I was hoping there would be some water on stage, some sort of prop or something, just really kind of dramatically showing off the story of this person, but it looks a little bit more abstract. So like, I gotta admit, I am a little bit disappointed in some aspects of this, but I still am holding off a hope that the camera angles are gonna bring it together, give us that weirdness. And Raven, in the TikTok video, she sounded absolutely fantastic. So vocals are really on point. Maybe there's also been a conscious decision that they don't want her to do much because they want the vocals to be super, super clean and just let all the dancers kind of bring all the energy around her. So I haven't lost faith in this. I was hoping for like real wows when I was looking through all the photos. Instead, I was like, this is pretty, this is beautiful. I like some elements. Some of the things I'd hope for aren't here, but we need to wait and see the final package. I'm still crossing my fingers for Raven. You know, if you ask me right now, do I think she's qualifying? I think she's a borderline no, but I want to be wrong so freaking bad. I really, really want her in the final. Okay, next up we have Finland. It's Windows 95 man singing No Rules. Huge amount of controversy about this on Twitter because I think he showed off his bum or something. This staging is largely the same as UMK. There's not really anything new to talk about. I heard that the staging was going to be quite different, so I'm a little bit surprised. This really does look completely identical to UMK. So I don't really have that much to say about it because, you know, there's some deluxification going on here. I believe he has like a new Windows 95 man jacket. Otherwise though, everything looks the same. The denim egg looks the same, maybe like a slight deluxification, but not really that much. We can see the Windows 95 logo has been blurred out. I'm not sure if that's on purpose or if they got permission. I've noticed a little bit of back and forth between him and Windows on Twitter. I actually thought that they gave their blessing for him to use it, so not sure why he's blurred it out. But we have this ending with the flurry of glitter coming out in the sparkles once he finds his pants. And then you can see here that he is wearing a thong, so showing off quite a lot of skin. I'm so tired of controversy this season, I don't even want to get involved. But yeah, I can see some people saying this is too much because it's family friendly. Other people saying, well, Chanel was showing her butt, which she was, and Spain's also showing off. They've got two dancers showing off their butts as well. So yeah, it does seem a little bit like inconsistent in that aspect, but I don't know. I just don't care enough to get like with the. I just want to. I don't want another controversy this year. I'm so freaking sick of fighting. Okay, picture number 9. We can see here we've got the dancers. Their outfits are definitely better as well. And yeah, not really too much to talk about here. This really is. If you want to know my opinion about the staging, go watch my Finland final video because I talk about it in detail there. There's nothing really to add here. Okay, next up we've got Moldova. It's Natalia Barbu singing in the middle. So this got really good reception on Twitter. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but I'm going to be a Debbie Downer. So there are some pretty elements in here. I really like this image of the tree. Actually, it really reminds me of North Macedonia's staging from Junior Eurovision this year. Not this year, the end of last year. That also had this like pink tree in the background. So really pretty image there. It looks like she's quite static throughout the whole thing. If you look at the TikTok video, it looks like she's in the center, in the middle, and she doesn't really move. The 4 female backup singer violin people from the national final appear to be gone. I'm not sure if that's a budgetary issue of having to fly them in and hairstylists and costumes and all that. But yeah, like no doubt there are some pretty elements here. This image of her and the wings coming out, that looks cool. We can see this tree. This looks so similar to North Macedonia's staging from Junior Eurovision, like eerily similar. And then we have these butterflies up the top as well. So there's pretty stuff here, but for me this doesn't change the fact that the song is just not a qualifiable song. Like there's been no revamp that I'm aware of. There's been no lyrical change. The lyrics are very repetitive. We've got 10 sentences repeated twice. This looks less exciting because she's on her own, there's less people to look at. I really like her outfit. I think the outfit looks very pretty, giving us kind of like a Greek goddess, and we've got this gold kind of leaf lame. Yeah, I felt like some of the hype was maybe just from low expectations, people not expecting Moldova to have anything that good. I don't see anything qualifying here at all. This just looks, it looks pretty in some parts, but then again, this is a photo. When it gets to moving, she's going to be standing there the whole time, and we're really going to fall back on the song then. And then what do we have? We don't have any other people to look at. We're going to have a pretty tree. We're going to have some wings. Is that 3 minutes of entertainment? I'm still not convinced, but yeah, I know not to completely underestimate Moldova. Let me check the odds and actually see if they changed at all. Maybe I'm just totally detached from reality. They're still 14th, so I don't know what they were this morning. Yeah, they were 14th before and they're still 14th. Next up we have Azerbaijan. It's Fari featuring Ilkin. And this one was quite interesting to me, quite an unusual color palette. We can see now here outfit wise, it's kind of giving a little bit of combat gear, a little bit of futuristic vibe. I have to admit, I'm not a massive fan on the styling. I think this outfit looks really busy. I think it's trying to look futuristic, but it doesn't. It looks kind of what futuristic clothes look like in movies in the 80s and 90s, like Star Trek, like the very early Star Trek. It's just giving goofy futuristic to me. They've done this kind of before. I remember they did a similar kind of like future fashion vibe with Chingiz in 2019 Truth, which is one of my favorite Eurovision songs ever. Borislav Milanov, when are you coming back to Eurovision, please? But yeah, it just doesn't work for me as much here. I just don't think that it looks right. But I actually really like this black silver color palette. That is the one aspect of it I do like. And here we get an image of this background LED of this silver female figure, which I think looks kind of cool. I wish they'd modeled it on an actual real person, because it looks like a computer generated face. Like it doesn't, you know, when you look at something you can tell that it's not a real person. But these hands coming up look really cool. And yeah, again, this black and silver color palette is very unusual to me, very unexpected. I think it's going to pop a little bit, maybe a little bit similar to Serbia, but that was so long ago that I don't think it's relevant. And we can see again this image. It almost looks like it looks like a female figure coming out of a lake with mountains behind and this arch. So I think it's a very striking image. And this outfit now, we can see Ilkin's coat. This coat, I'm sorry, I hate this coat. Throw it into a fire immediately. It looks so freaking goofy, and it really reminds me of the robot from Red Dwarf. I'm going to put the picture up because that is such an obscure reference to a British sitcom from the 90s. Congratulations if you understood that reference. It really reminds me of that. This is just super goofy. He does take it off though, and the outfit underneath is nice. So some poor fashion choices here. I think they're going for future fashion chic. Yeah, I don't think it completely hit. But I'm liking the energy on the stage, you know, and it looks like Fari's got some choreography. He's kind of like singing some notes down and bending down. His voice sounded good. It's quite an unusual package in that it's male duet, which we don't get that often. It sounds different. It looks very different. So I think they've done a pretty good job here at differentiating themselves in terms of a mood. The LED looks very different. The styling, even though I don't think it totally works, is very, very different from everybody else. So I think that's really going to help with memorization. Now this comes after Sweden, and I wonder could that potentially hurt it a little bit, because Sweden does look a little bit more futuristic and cool and slick to me, and it's got a little more vibrant colors, whereas Azerbaijan is these kind of gray scale. So I wonder, is this going to be a slightly harsh contrast for them to come immediately after Marcus and Martinez putting on such a great show? And actually, funny enough, I've just realized that's a male duo as well. So they've put the two male duos back to back, which is extremely harsh considering that Azerbaijan is the only male duo in this semi-final, and they've put the only other male duo who aren't even competing sandwiched right up against them. So yeah, stealing their thunder a tiny bit. You know, on the flip side, you could argue that Azerbaijan is coming so late, so there's the luck of the draw there. But this last part of the show, Moldova, Azerbaijan, Australia, Portugal, Luxembourg, I feel like this is a weaker part of the semi-final. And because of that, there are big opportunities for someone to take a place. We know that generally it's easier to qualify from the second half. So I'm looking at all these. I'm not looking at anyone who's really seizing that opportunity yet. But again, it might come alive when we see the live cuts and what the camera angles look like. Like this image here, again with the hands, the girl appears to have submerged under the water. I don't know if someone's trying to help her or not, but we've got the hands again looking really cool, a little bit similar to what Ukraine did in 2022. You could actually buy that hand online afterwards if you wanted to, if you had a little bit of cash. And again, another image here of the outfit. Yeah, it's just not for me. These combat trousers are just cringy, futuristic. It's not working for me. I'm hoping now that in the second rehearsal we're going to get some different outfits. That's a really common thing that happens, is that people will try different outfits. I believe Baby Lasagna is going to try a different outfit in the second rehearsal, so is Silly Capsa. So I hope they've got something back up here, but overall I think it's got some unique things in it. Feels like a little bit of wild card. What's going to happen to them? My gut instinct is that it's not going to qualify. Okay, next up we've got Australia. It's Electric Fields singing One Mil Cali, One Blood. So again, a very interesting color palette here. A really sharp contrast to Azerbaijan. We're getting these kind of autumnal colors, oranges, amber, yellows, and then also these pink pops as well. So I'm getting a real galaxy, a bit of autumn, but also getting a galaxy feel. Picture 9, you can see here this like swirling image looking like a supernova or a nebulae. Tying in with the theme, there's a lot of like celestial metaphors in the song, talking about galaxies and the universe and space. And then we actually have the words coming up on the screen. I actually love how this looks. That beautiful font, really strong pink fuchsia against this black backdrop with a little bit of a space feel behind it. So kind of like this spacey void, but then the Mil Cali La, you know, our unity being this vibrant color set against that. So I think that looks really cool. Zachariah Ah has this fantastic outfit on, kind of giving us a little bit of androgyny. I think he's got a really beautiful spirit in the TikTok video. The way he talks is, you can feel the kind of warmth in his soul. So I'm hoping that that's going to show in the performance. I think that this is something that people, I know it's 10th in the qualifying odds, so people aren't exactly like full on sleeping on it, like they're not in a coma. But I do think that people are slightly underestimating this because it's got a huge cultural element to it. You can't see here in the photos, but in the TikTok video, you can see there's a guy doing a traditional dance with a didgeridoo. They've got some other dancers as well. Actually, in the TikTok, it showed that the stage is going to have all 6 of them. So both Electric Fields, and it looks like there's maybe 2 dancers, 3 dancers, and then the didgeridoo dude. The didgeridoo, is that okay to say that? Picture number 7, we can see again this Mil Cali La. So I think this looks different, and I think it's going to pop against anyone who maybe felt that Azerbaijan before was just a little bit too drab with these dark colors. This has got that pop of color and vibrancy. I'm really hoping they bring this warmth and energy that Gustav had last year, this kind of familiarity and someone that you want to kiki, be friends with. Michael's outfit is actually really gorgeous. This kind of jacket with beige and a lot of details on it. That looks like completely hand-stitched, custom made. It looks really, really, really great. So yeah, I have to admit, I was expecting some like slightly bolder colors. I was looking for maybe some of that traditional Aboriginal dot art. But yeah, this galaxy theme is cool, just as long as it doesn't go too much into like Windows screensaver galaxy. It has to look expensive and deluxeified, and it has to have warmth and comfort to it. I'm feeling pretty good about this. Okay, next up we have Portugal. It's Irlanda singing Grito. Another one that looks very similar to the national final, but just the fact that it's on this bigger, cooler stage, it just looks even better. In terms of a color palette, we're keeping all these beautiful whites, and we've got this kind of blues and blacks behind. I think Portugal really have a very strong identity in their visual packages in Eurovision. This starkness, this minimalist that they have. I know last year their minimalism was not voluntary. They submitted their LEDs and they submitted their LED requests and they weren't happy with them. But generally I associate the Portuguese staging being very pared back, very pretty and thoughtful and elegant, not full of fluff. Everything's there for a reason. It has a purpose. Yeah, I think Portugal has a really strong identity in Eurovision. This looks really beautiful. Styling wise, she's got this white outfit. I'm not mad on some of the small details around the vest or this zipper down the front, but overall it looks very architectural, and I love the white of it as well. I love these dancers with their covered heads, so it kind of gives the focus onto her, but also makes them into these kind of like mysterious nymphs or demons or angels, depending on what your perspective is. But this tableau here, look, this has got such a totally different vibe from everyone else. This is very interpretive. It's extremely artistic. You can see here now, each person on stage has a completely different pose and characteristic. It's going to be extremely striking. I love how they've changed the LEDs now into this white with this blue line. That is so pretty, because I remember in the national final, it was more like this ombre effect, which kind of reminded me more of like TV static. This looks way cleaner. This looks very expensive, very elegant. And we can see again this beautiful use of the reflection on the floor to give this sense of water. And we can see here now how just the fact that it's on this more wow stage can just give us this bigger sense of grandeur. Just really simply using the boxes with these white squares. Really simple, but it looks so effective. The ability of the Portuguese delegation to edit and just be really purposeful with all of their decisions. Image number 7. Even here, this is gorgeous. This is her white outfit against this black ombre. Very elegant. I have no idea why this is so low in the qualification. It's still 11th. No hate, but Cyprus is still in 5th. I find that crazy that Cyprus is 5th, the first song in the show, and then this looks absolutely divine and it's 11th. I guess it's just the fact it's a ballad and people are a little bit worried about voting about ballads because it's still this kind of unknown entity. Obviously, this is only the second year that we've had televote only semi-finals. We didn't really have that many ballads last year. We had Lithuania, Monica Linkite. We had Alika singing Bridges. There was one other, I've already forgotten what it is, but yeah, there were very few. All of them made it to the final though. I do have a feeling that the bookies appear to be closed right now. I think they're going to open maybe tomorrow and hopefully we'll see a little bit of movement. But yeah, this really should be in the final. It looks absolutely gorgeous. And we want to encourage this different style, this different feel of artistry, contemplative introspection. Definitely deserves to be in the final. I think this is going to pop as well after Australia and Azerbaijan. It does have a little bit of an overlap in Azerbaijan in that we're going into these kind of like whites and grey scale color palette. But I think it's different enough because it's got the movement in it and it's got these tableaus and the blue pop of color as well. I was hoping that when she does the scream, there would be like some sort of like wispy red, not like this big explosion of red, but even just like a slinky line or something, kind of similar to Serbia has a Ramonda flower come out. They haven't decided to go for that, or maybe they're hiding it, but I think that would have been like a real wow moment, just to have that tiny sneak of color at the end. Okay, finally we have Luxembourg. It's Tally singing Fighter. And I have to admit, when I first saw these, I was quite positive about these photos. I believe that this is not what she's going to be wearing. She's wearing this black spandex outfit here. I actually don't mind it, to be honest. It does look like she's going to go try and rob a diamond in a diamond heist, but I believe that they're going to have like a different outfit or something. I'm not sure. I like the styling of the dancers though. These kind of like slightly Grecian peach to red ombre outfits. 3 male and 2 female dancers. Luxembourg really got that money this year. They've also got a prop box that looks they're starting off on. So something's happening here. They're coming with an idea. They're coming with a new visual, something that's just going to pop on stage. I'm not sure if this is done by the same producers who did the Luxembourg national final, but I'm getting the same sense of just having lots of money, you know, maxing out the dancers. I really like this part where she's on the stage and the light beams are shining on her. I wonder, is she going to try and do the crystal ball thing on the outfit? I hope not, because it does kind of give me that impression, the light shining on her, that there's going to be some reflection of the light, like people are attacking her and she's reflecting it. We've had it done 4 times now, I think. Raven did it in the national final, then Vasil did it in the semi-finals, but didn't qualify for the final. Slimane has been doing it in the pre-season, and then Dodder did it at Melody Festival. It's been done a lot. It feels like it's very recycled, so I hope that's not what they're doing. Or if they are going to do it, I hope they do some new thing. For example, in Vibur this year, we saw that Melvin had the light go through him. So that felt kind of related, but it had a new twist on it. I wonder, could that be something? And that's why they didn't have the outfit today, because they wanted to save the surprise for later. Again, just a theory. Picture number 3, we can see here, there's going to be the dancing. Again, this is this different type of choreo I was speaking about, where everyone's doing the same thing. You can see all 5 dancers doing the same move at once. Bit more kind of like pop style choreography. And we are going to get these moments when she goes into the slower bit where she's going to be completely on her own. So I think that's going to be really, really cool, having that contrast of this like total black behind her, singing solo, and then switching up the energy to having all the dancers around her. In the TikTok video, we could see that there were some like lions popping out, that LEDs actually look quite exciting. So look, I'm more positive about this. I was saying that I think that this would be a non-qualifier. This looks like a lot of effort and money's gone into it. I like the color palette. It's actually quite similar to Australia. So I wish that they were like a tiny bit further apart. And I wish that Portugal and Azerbaijan had also been put farther apart as well. So some slightly unusual decision making there by the producers. Maybe there were some last minute color changes. But overall, I'm more confident about Luxembourg going through. I think we're in the odds. They are 6th. I think that's a little bit too confident. Yeah, fantastic running order. I think that a lot of this is going to come down to how much narrative building is there going to be as they are presented. Is it going to be like, hey, Luxembourg are back, or are they going to go in like a 2-3 minute mini video spiel about Luxembourg's history in the contest? That context is very important. Okay, so let's do a quick roundup. Look, honestly, I gotta say, this second half is just not as good as the first half, but that's what I was expecting. The big hitters for me are all in the first half. I always thought that there were gonna be less qualifiers from the second half and it would be weaker, and really that's what I got today. I actually said that in my first video, I was expecting today to be weaker. No one really coming with something like really, really wow. Or, you know, when you look at the first and you go, oh, you have a little gasp, you're like, oh my God, I'm kind of shocked in one sense. No one really had that. Now, in fairness, Finland weren't able to shock me because they basically just redid their national final. And when I saw that, I was shocked, but you know, some time has passed. Yeah, I was hoping for a little bit more from Slovenia and Australia and Azerbaijan. You know, Moldova had some pretty staging, but I think that when we see the moving product, it's gonna just kind of look a little bit flat because nothing's happening. I feel like Luxembourg have elevated a little bit. Portugal, again, super pretty, but I saw it in the national finals. And then Iceland just giving me nothing, babe. I'm just not getting a cohesive strategy for them. So yes, of these 8 songs, I would expect maybe 3 or 4 of them to make it through. We could have the potential of all 7 of the first half qualifying, which would be crazy. It would be the first time ever that 7 songs in a row qualified. It would be the first time ever that 7 songs from the first half qualified, and it would be only the 3rd time ever that more songs have qualified from the first half than the second half of the semi-final. So 3 firsts all at one. I'm sure there's a couple other firsts as well. It does look like that could happen. This first half looks much stronger than the second half, in my opinion. But I'm hoping some of these will elevate when we see the live camera cuts. You know, they've added in some extra artistry there. I guess that's what I thought about day 2 of rehearsals, the second half of the first semi-final. What did you think? Leave me a comment in the comment section down below. Thank you to Justina for supporting me on Buy Me a Coffee. If you want to support the channel, I'll have links to you in the description down below. And of course, thank you to all my patrons for patronizing me around the world. But of course, thank you so much just for watching and maybe leaving a like and maybe sharing the video. And thank you. I'll see you in another Eurovision analysis video very soon. Goodbye. Blah, 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 blah.